Desert wind, engine turns. Coyotes howling from dusk to dawn. Green Cadillac with the top drop down. His hand on fire as it turns the radio on. He's a road runner, a time jumper. If her love don't kill him, then the road surely will. She was a highway stranger looking for a mister, born dizzy, diamondbacks for eyes. Showed him her gun action, bullets in her teeth. Straight up slowly, it's about to go down. She's a New York princess, a passionate misstep. If love don't kill him, then the road surely. Pulled up slowly, headlights turned low. An uneasy feeling is about to go down. Blasted through the door, didn't see it coming. Church bells were down as the hand went down. They were strutting up. Oh, strutting up. If love don't kill him, then the road surely will.
Hello folks, Carl here, and I am with Dave Bruzza. Thank you so much for coming. You were on tour with Unsafe at Any Speed, your awesome rock surf band. How did that kind of come about with, because you've been in Greensky for how many years now?
It's going, I'll just stop at 20.
But yeah, like, tell me about where that came from.
The Unsafe stuff, you know, I've always been kind of a rock and roller at heart. I grew up playing the drums, and I always wanted to do something, you know, when I have a little bit of time. And we had some time a couple of years ago, and I put together some of my friends that I really enjoyed playing with and cross-pollinating with, and it started as just kind of just filler for me, just to keep busy. And, you know, we'd go out and play a bunch of covers and do songs that I've written for Greensky, and it's kind of morphing now into a project with a little bit of its own legs, which has been really exciting and fun to do. So it's just another avenue for me just to be creative and be out there playing.
So it kills it too. I mean,
Thanks.
big fan of the stuff.
Thanks.
You also had a really productive pandemic creatively too,
Yeah.
with the surf stuff.
Yeah.
And you did everything?
I did
on
everything.
that
I played
tip?
all the instruments. It came out of the necessity of getting more familiar with home recording. Like, I've always had an understanding I could do stuff, but I kind of had all this time on my hands like most people did. And just to stay productive, stay active, and also to stay sober for me, which was a big part of it, I just wanted to keep doing things. So I would listen to a lot of early rock and roll in that time period anyways. And just for fun, I was getting out my old Stratocaster and just trying to mimic these things. And then I kind of took a deep dive in how did they record these things in the early 60s? Like, what kind of mics did they use? What kind of patterns? So I just wanted to conduct some experiments in my apartment in Denver. And after a couple of weeks of just doing that, I kind of took a step back and listened to the stuff and realized that a couple of these things, this isn't so bad. This is pretty neat. Like, it was pretty fun. And so I've never released a solo project. I've done some duo records with some people. I've done some guesting. Mostly my body of work is with Greensky Bluegrass. And so I decided that maybe it's time. And of course, I decide to release this only one way for the time being, which is a 7-inch 45 RPM record single. So I got an A side and a B side. Been blown away and just humbled just by the overwhelming response I've gotten from our fans and stuff about releasing this.
I guess they agreed that it also wasn't so bad too.
No, but I mean, I didn't think many people bought 7-inch 45 records anymore because I'm a nerd and like, I like it, but I don't think it's usually a thing that most of the casual record purchasers would buy.
Totally.
But I'm really thankful that people seem to be really enjoying the idea, and since there's such a limited quantity, they're only available right now on this tour that we're on with Unsafe at Any Speed. So we'll see how many we have left by the time we get back home.
Hell yeah. So you and I met, what is it, 5 years ago now?
Yeah, something like that.
And the first guitar I sold you was that 55 J45.
That's a beauty.
I'll always remember that thing. But one of my favorite stories is your telly that you bought. And
yeah, of course, we can talk about the telly.
As honestly as you can, like, I really just love this story. So if you could talk about how you became acquainted with this thing.
Yeah, so it was actually the last time I got to play in Chicago, which was with Unsafe at Any Speed. And at the time I had Lyle Brewer in the band, and we were playing at Shuba's, which isn't too far from here. And Lyle and I were killing some time, so we decided to come down and say hello to Carl and play some guitars. And I think there was like 10 or 15 like Chicago special custom shops. I remember Lyle and I both looked at this thing like, man, that is one ugly piece. But you know, we'd both sit down and play this thing, and I mean, this thing feels incredible, and it has those cool pickups with like the low output vibe.
Yeah,
they just sounded great, sounded so good. And yeah, we just kept playing guitar after guitar, kept going back to this one. Yeah, I think it was about after an hour or so, you know, I was like, well, yeah, I'll take it. But I mean, it's funny because every time anyone sees it, especially the guys in the band here, you know, like they think they're like, that's so cool. And I'm like, I'm still not sold on the looks, but you know, it goes to show you that anyone can change, but like, it's the feel and the sound of the guitar that are most important to me. I mean, paramount to anything else. The looks are kind of secondary. I mean, it doesn't look too bad. Now that I look at it. But you know, I've never really been a gold hardware guy, but this is a fantastic guitar.
It doesn't look too bad. A resounding Dave Bruzza endorsement.
Well, the funny thing on this tour in particular, you know, we're playing those surf rock songs.
Yeah.
And I brought a Stratocaster along with me because that's what I used on the surf stuff. And I was like, okay, I can just switch back and forth. And we did our rehearsal day for the tour. I kept going back and forth at the beginning, I think every other song. And then by the 5th or 6th tune that we were working on, I just, like, that's it. I should have just brought one guitar with me, you know. Because this thing, it's a very versatile guitar too. I can get those cool sounds out of it, and it's just so comfortable for me, especially with Unsafe. This is the main workhorse for me in this band.
Yeah, coolest part of my job is seeing these things up on stage with artists such as yourself.
And they get to come home every now and then.
Yeah. All right. Well, man, dude, thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, Carl, thanks for having me.
Absolutely. We'll see you next time.
Absolute pleasure.
Dave Bruzza, Unsafe at Any Speed.
She's a rough and tumble, even when she cries. It might take a lifetime living through these times, drifting through dark waters, wandering and blind, forever gone to me. suddenly, softly into place. Oh, I can see the shapes of falling stars again, rolling rough and tumble. Tumble, just like when I knew her. I thought she was the only one who tried. She said when they come to collect, we better come correct if we're ever going to make it out loud. She said don't stray too far. Never leaves a man glass. Know when to say when. Every now and again.